Well, I don't see anything that way, except for some haze from old smokes from the fires in the area. And more haze looking that way. In fact, the top of the butte is hidden. So what exactly is it that I'm looking for today? It's surely not this old 81 Ford half-ton. And it surely isn't this Ford Ranger in disguise as a Mazda. You know, I think I found it. It's this big red lump sitting here in my driveway. Yes, indeedy. Welcome back to Wednesday, the 5th of August, 2026, everybody. It is going to be in the triple digits again, hotter than heck. And my 1952 Super M showed up from the repair shop yesterday. Guess what? Look at what showed up today. Yeah, they just rolled it off the trailer. Oh, you're good. Pardon the crappy camera work. But there she is, sitting in the driveway. Hey! Well, I'm your YouTube star now.
That's alright.
I just found out something. It's a rather painful lesson. Yeah. Boomerangs and attention deficit disorder don't go well together. No. Oh. Yeah, they dropped it off and here it sits. Got a few things we got to tweak on it and do, like put some air in the rear tire, check the oil level and that sort of thing. Grease it all up and we may even take it for a drive downtown today. Yeah, so let's get with it today, and thank you to everybody that's been following along with me on the series, and to all the new subscribers. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and I would appreciate it if you did. So anyway, let's check out this whole hunk of red iron. There is no dipstick on a Farmall. It's these nice little thumb tight valves. This one's a replacement valve. This is the original. When you unscrew them, the oil runs out, you got enough in it. You know? It's wanting to kind of run out there. Ooh, it's looking a little black. So, yeah, we'll close that up. You don't need a wrench to do this. Finger tight's good enough. Pardon the lousy camera work. Somebody got on this one though. It really reefed on it. You don't have to. Yeah, see that oil running out? So she's full of oil. Yeah. They quit dripping after a while. Sitting here on the operator seat, I see the nut and washers that they stuck on there to keep the hood held down. That's not correct, so that'll have to be fixed. And the air intake is cocked sideways. So yeah, it should be running front to back. And at least I still have my little yellow Caterpillar dozer still in the glass jar. We're going to have to change it out for something green, I'm afraid. Well, before it gets any hotter today and I break out in a worse sweat, let's fire this old girl up and see how she sounds. Ooh, a little stiff. She's a little cool in the transmission this morning. We'll have to check the oil level in that too. And there we go. Contact, we're on. Let's see what she does. Hey, look at there. Had no smoke either like she used to do. Except for when you accelerate a little bit. That's normal for these tractors. I don't know if you can read that oil pressure gauge or not from here. I've got the camera on its furthest zoom it'll do. But that needle over there is almost pegged at 70 psi on the old international oil pressure gauge. So we should have some pretty good oil pressure yet in this thing. Alrighty, here we go. Yeah. Now this is my first time pushing that clutch down. Yeah, very little travel in that pedal as compared to what used to be, and it's stiff. So yeah, the old girl's definitely got a new clutch in her. Let's see if she jumps and jerks like she used to. Oh, nope, nice and smooth. Gotta watch out we don't hit the little Ford Ranger wannabe. Yeah. Okay, we'll try it in fourth here. Pardon the crappy camera work, and yes, we're looking into the sun. Whew. Quite responsive there. Running along good. Yep. Gauge, can't tell if it's charging or not. Looks like it is. While I'm holding a camera and trying to drive, I think fourth gear's fast enough. Yeah. Sure is a pleasure to get back on this old girl and drive around a little bit, though. We'll do a California style rolling stop here. Nothing coming from that way. Nothing that way, so we will proceed on down here to the next one. Got a lot of haze in the air yet. There's a lot of fires burning around us. I've got some relatives up near the Spokane fire. I haven't heard from them yet. Been trying to get a hold of them. In fact, phone lines were down. So, yeah, I don't know what the story is there. Anyway, sorry about the cruddy camera work here. We're going to get some mounts on this old tractor and the H to put the cameras on. So, yeah, we don't have to hold them and I can concentrate on the driving. Oh, that clutch is a lot smoother than it used to be. Just out of giggles, we'll put it in fifth. Oh, way fast for me holding the camera here. Hey, no steering death wobble, so this is a good thing. Yeah, anyway, we're going to head down here to the gas station, check out a couple of lottery tickets, get something cold to drink, and head back up to the house. I think we will pull right up in there. Yeah. We can do this without killing anybody. Okay, we made it.
That's awesome.
Thank you. It ought to be. I just spent enough getting the engine rebuilt. Everything's brand new from the clutch forward. Well, one fellow likes it, but yeah, we should definitely got to get some camera mounts on this whole thing. It's kind of hard to see it from this angle, but that little puddle of oil right there, that is dripping out of the bottom of the governor housing. It has a small hole in it. They figured that was something I could fix though, so which it is because it's on the outside of the engine and I can get to it with simple hand tools. So we'll be taking that governor apart and checking it out and seeing if it needs to be rebuilt or replaced. Well, we're back from town and we're going to go under the trees here and over to the hay rake like I had the H last week, so we can eyeball this old girl and see what we need to do with it. So give me a second here and we'll get her backed around in front of the hay rake. Well, there she is underneath the shade of the maple and the pine trees, backed up to the hay rake. So yeah, looks like she's about ready to go do some work. Let's take a quick look at some of the parts and pieces that I know we're going to need to replace. Now, internally on the engine, everything from the flywheel, pilot bearing, clutch, disc, the whole 9 yards from here forwards has been rebuilt in the engine, with the exception of the governor and the carburetor, all which work. Has a new water pump on it, which that's fine. The only thing we got to worry about is maybe pulling that cover back off and putting some more gasket glue or something in there, because it does appear to be dribbling a little bit, which I'm not too worried about. It'll eventually stop, but still, we may want to tackle that. So eventually we got to go through the governor. There we go. Now, the battery sitting on the board isn't the world's best idea, and then having it bungee corded to the tractor. Reason why there's a board there is because the mounting bolts, that little flat one right there, there's several of them in there, are still there for the battery box, and I have a brand new battery box to put that in. Another thing I'm going to do is soak those bolts with penetrating oil of some sort for a while, loosen them up, and then move the fender out towards the wheel, and then reinstall those bolts in the back 2 holes. That way it'll be a little more vertical support here for when I want to get to pulling on it, because I can't put in 4 bolts on that side, and it'll give me a little more leg room to get my leg around in front of that damn thing right there. Pardon my French. When I drove it to town, I lost my left shoe twice trying to get it up over that, because I could not bend my leg enough to get it around that, and I'm not limber enough to swing my legs up and around behind the seat like I used to do when I was younger and didn't have knee issues. Now, this rubber gasket here is getting a little crusty, so when we get a new one of those, we'll change out that cat to maybe something green. Yeah, I know it's going to be hard to see it, but there's a way to tell a new hood, a newer original hood, let me put it that way, and an older original hood. Like on my 1940 Farmall H, this piece, that reinforcement piece, isn't there. It's just open right there. So somewhere after 1940 or so, they started putting that in to reinforce that arch and give that sheet metal a little more support. That's just a little bit of worthless trivia for you for today. But sometime in the future, we'll have to put a bushing in that pedal, or replace that pin that goes from this side here all the way across the other side. And if I have to pull that pin out and take apart all that brake lever linkage and stuff, we'll have to check out the disc brakes too. We are going to need to get in there and work on those brakes anyway. This one's rubber bushing is about half gone and eaten through. Don't know if that's from age or mouse or just what. Eventually we're going to have to do something about this belt pulley. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what left some of the marks on it like this and across here, but yeah, it's starting to come loose and apart. It is paper, so we'll either have to find a correct original paper one, or see if I can scrounge up one of the cast iron ones off a later tractor, something that's the right size to put back on here. If I shut off that little valve handle right there on the sediment bulb, it starts to drip. So I've got some packing we're going to put in there underneath that first nut as soon as I can drain the gas out of the system there, and we'll put some more packing in there and that'll quit dripping. Now, the Super M does take the tall oil filter, so we'll get a few more hours on the engine and we'll drain everything down real good and change out that filter and check for anything shiny in the oil, which hopefully there isn't any. However, there may be a little bit because of the new pistons and rings setting in. I had a chance to buy one of those Christmas tree valves that goes in here, and my friend over at Old Red Tractors talked me into buying the thing. Don't know if I'm going to put it on this tractor or put it on the H though. But one of them's going to probably end up with a 3-point hitch, and that Christmas tree valve would come in handy for running that. You know, I talked about doing a victory garden this year, but I just refused to work with compost and all that, you know, because compost is so degrading. Now, if you follow that mess of hydraulic hoses, this upper one is way too long. It's clear up under the seat and the starter pedal and all that kind of thing before it gets there to the quick connection at the back end of the tractor. So one of these first days we're going to get that hose either shortened or have a brand new one made to replace that'll be the correct length and won't have all that extra floating around on the deck where I got to put my feet. While the old girl was at the shop, I had them clean out the bolts out of those 4 holes that had broken off. So we're going to mount a new fender that I have on the right side of the tractor, and we're going to put it in those outside bolts. Yeah, and keep it as the same width apart as the one that'll be on the left when we get done adjusting it. And up here on the deck, we've got 2 loose bolts. So we're going to clean out those bolt holes, soak them real good with some penetrating oil, and see if we can't unscrew those bolts and clean out the threads and replace them. Neither the temperature gauge or the oil pressure gauge are correct. So we're going to find some that are correct eventually and replace those. Right now I'm not too terribly worried about it because right now they are working, and that's not a real priority type thing to get done. Like the temperature gauge and the oil pressure gauge, the end gauge is not correct, so eventually we will replace that, and we will get a rubber knob to put on the end of the gear shift lever. Yeah, like it's supposed to have. Another problem we have with this tractor is the drawbar doesn't swing properly anymore. As you can see, there's been a piece of steel welded onto this face of it, and I think underneath there's some gobbledygook too, so it won't let the roller and the drawbar swing from one side to the other like it's supposed to do. Now that's something I've never had a problem with as yet, is that drawbar, but yeah, it'll need to be done. I haven't done a thing with the rear axle and anything on this tractor, so we're going to also drain the rear end, see what kind of mess it's in, and then refill it. I think it takes 12 gallons or so of a gear oil to go in that, so that'll be a nice price tag, especially with 5-gallon buckets being around 100 and some bucks for the 35-pound 5-gallon bucket. Yeah, so anyway, that's another project coming up to do. That's proof I'm a dirty old man. Yes, sirree. Beautiful young lady just walked by here, some black short shorts on, taking her beagle out for a walk. Oh my God, you should have seen them legs on that beagle. There was quite a video put out on the High Country Antique Tractor Puller Association's deal on Facebook from that chapter's president, of which I'm a member of, naming me as interim president of the group, as he has taken a job out of the area. So yeah, he won't be as active with the group as he had been. And yeah, so we're going to have a meeting on the 20th of this month just to see what the members want to do with the chapter, if they want to keep it going or whatever, and when they want to hold elections, if they want to hold elections, or just maintain things the way they are or whatever. So we'll have an update for you on that when that happens. Yeah, it wasn't something I was really looking to get or to do, but somebody had to step up to the plate and take the reins and make the thing run. So anyway, that's that update. Looking west, and about 17 miles that away, there was a huge tragedy happened here in Idaho a week ago. Now, I assume you all have heard about the tragedy that happened with the mass shooting at the In-N-Out Burger in Twin Falls that had only been open for a week. Well, yeah, that was bad enough, but I was pleasantly surprised that one of you that follow my channel decided to comes screaming out here to pay me a visit. And I'll give you the short version of the long story. I was getting a new cell phone. Well, in fact, I'd gotten a new cell phone last Friday and hadn't gotten it activated yet, because it got in late and I didn't want to fool with it. It was mailed to me because I went through one of the new cell phone outfits. Anyway, this acquaintance of mine that has a YouTube channel that follows mine heard about the shootings at the In-N-Out Burger and immediately tried to call me to see if I was safe. Well, my cell phone didn't work. And I had told her Friday when I talked to her last that I was going to go see what the hubbub was all about an In-N-Out hamburger. Well, she got in panic mode, paid about $1,500 and flew out here to Idaho to check up on me. Well, about the time she was halfway, or 2/3 of the way from her place to Twin Falls, where the regional airport is, I got my cell phone working, discovered I had a bunch of missed phone calls and text messages from her, so I sent her a message back, told her I was okay, and of course she called me a few words for not answering the phone until I explained why. But yeah, so one of my followers cared enough to make sure I was okay and spent a gob of money to come check up on me, which I'm really impressed and thankful for. Not that I'm picking on any of the rest of you subscribers, but I want you all to know that neither of my kids called to see if I was okay. Yeah. Anyway, prayers going out to the families of those that have been killed and injured at the In-N-Out Burger in Twin Falls, Idaho. Hope you all enjoyed this little video on getting the Super M back to the house and the little tour around it of all the little projects we got to do with it yet to fix it to make it right and that sort of thing. I even have a new IH logo to go on the front of the hood there, or the grill, when we get around to getting the dent knocked out of the grill and getting the old tractor painted. So yeah, always something to do on the old thing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, thank you for subscribing, and we'll catch up with you later. So you all have a good one now. Bye bye from Farmer Dave.